Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this is meant for class 12th biology students, and this video is meant for 11th July 2020. And since we were dealing with the last unit, ecology and environment, if you recollect from your memory, we have completed chapter 13, organisms and populations. Chapter 14 also we completed, and chapter 15, biodiversity and its conservation, in our last session we completed. But for your knowledge, I must tell you that for your batch, CBSE has deleted 2 chapters from this unit, that is ecology and environment. It has deleted chapter number, that is 16th chapter, last chapter, environmental issues, and 14th chapter, ecosystem. Ecosystem is removed, environmental issues removed. And as per the CBSE marks weightage also, previously ecology and environment was having 14 marks. Now they removed 2 chapters and the weightage also is reduced to 12. So ecology and environment unit has got only 12 marks for your batch. That means 2 chapters. Chapter number 13, organisms and populations. Chapter number 15, biodiversity and its conservation. That means roughly 6 marks each. So please do not neglect. They're easy chapters. Easily you can score 12 out of 12. And to help you for your upcoming UPSC ND exam, lot many questions come from this chapter, that is human health and evolution. So I have gone straight away into 3rd unit or 8th unit, we say biology and human welfare. So in biology and human welfare, again this is for 14 marks previously also. Now also it is for 14 marks. So in this biology and human welfare unit, we have got 2 chapters. That's one, human health and disease is very important chapter, both for CBSE exam as well as UPSC ND exam. That's why I have picked up this chapter. And chapter number 10, microbes in human welfare. Whereas chapter number 9 is removed. What is that chapter number 9? Strategies for enhancement in food production. That chapter is removed. So again 14 marks, 2 chapters. That means human health and disease, this chapter which I am dealing today is for 7 marks, and then in future we will be talking about microbes in human welfare. That's also for 7 marks. So do not neglect this chapter and next chapter. 7 plus 7, 14 marks. And coming to today's discussion, all of you know in your junior classes definition of health, right? How do you define what is health? And whenever we talk of health, we keep remembering 3 things: physical health, mental health, and social health. So physical health is what you have been doing in Sunday school, day in and day out, lot of exercises. How many exercise, how much time you do, that much you become physically fit. So physical fitness is one of the indicators of your health. That is physical. And then mental, whether what you are feeling for fellow human beings, having sympathy, empathy, and then you understand what the teachers teach in the class. You always think positive. This is mental well-being. And what about the third one? Stress, that is social well-being. As far as society is concerned, are you a good citizen of the society? If you are a good citizen of the society and you indicate some important factors wherein the society feels that you are a responsible citizen and you do contribute for the goodness of the humanity, then we say you are a healthy person. That means in order to be healthy, an individual must be physically fit, mentally strong, and socially acceptable. Then only we say you are healthy. But we have got a rider with this. What is that? Physically fit, mentally well balanced or strong, and socially acceptable, and there is a condition along with these three: without any disease or infirmity. There should not be any disease. Then we say a person is healthy. So there are indicators, there are factors that contribute to keep us healthy. What is that? First, food and diet. You must have good food, clean and neat food, no dirty food, no outdated one, no frozen ones. So you must have good food and balanced diet. So whenever you are consuming food, being a biology boy, you must remember always that you should have carbohydrates, you should have fats, you should have a lot of proteins, and then minerals and vitamins along with plenty of water. I told you a number of times in the class, you must have 8 liters of water in a day at least. And then that contributes for your good health. And second, if you eat alone, don't do any exercise, you'll become WWF, fatty. So don't be fatty. Do lot of exercise so that you become physically fit. And then have very good relation with family and friends. Enjoy your time. Always be positive. Have good relationship with the society, with the family, with the friends. And then of course, I'll be telling you in the class again, you need to sleep 7 to 8 hours in a day. And sleep will automatically manage your stress. If you are having good sleep, I think the stress levels will be very minimum. If you don't have the sleep, stress will be enormous. So stress management is two-way. Have nice food, do exercise, have good relationship with others, sleep well, and most important, be positive. Mental attitude. Your attitude will make you whether you are stressed or de-stressed. Of course, I need to tell you that being students, you must have little bit of stress, that is called eustress, and you must have that eustress so that you can study for your exams. If you don't have stress at all, then my God, you might take even examinations easy. So there must be some sort of stress, that's called eustress, that's manageable. And then when the functioning of one or more organs or systems in the body is adversely affected, characterized by various signs and symptoms, we say that we are not healthy. Like many times, unfortunately, we had fractures, hand fracture, leg fracture while playing games. So the organ affected is either hand or leg. And because of that, there is various signs like edema, swelling of the affected part, pain, severe pain in that area. And then that indicates that you are not healthy, and that affects the whole body also. Hence, you need to maintain all the organs and organ systems healthy. So the condition of being sound body or sound mind in sound body it should be, and then it should be free from physical diseases, pain. Now you come back to factors influencing health. What are the various factors that influence our health? Broadly, we can speak 3. Genetic disorders, that is, disorders due to our own genes that we get from parents and family. So, there will be some unfortunate children who take birth with genetic disorders. Having a defective gene or a malfunctioning gene, a baby will be born, like for example, without ears, without eyes, without toes, and sometimes without hand also, or without any organ. These are genetic disorders. We will be studying this in genetics chapter in detail. And then there will be mental disorders also, defects in the mental disorders, mental thinking. So genetic disorders mainly, they are one of the factors that influence our health, and it's unfortunate, but then what was there is not now, because genetic disorders once upon a time was thought that they cannot be cured, they are not curable, but now thanks to biotechnology we can cure the genetic disorders, and that beautiful topic called biotechnology we'll study in detail in chapter number 11 and 12. And second, infections. Of course, these are dangerous. All of you must be feeling it. That's why you are kept at home. The infections, COVID-19 is spreading across. So to stop that infection only, we are having what is called 14-day home quarantine. Okay, so infections are one of the reasons why the healthy person can become a diseased person. And then third one, lifestyle, our food habits, our exercise, and hygiene practices, all this. Like say previously, hardly we were washing our palms. Now thanks to Corona, every time in and out we are washing our palms, and then we are having a what you call the mask, face mask, and then I am sure we are keeping our surroundings very clean and neat. Our own house, we are keeping it very clean and neat. The vehicle that we are riding, we are keeping it very neat and clean. So there is a change in our lifestyle. So our food habits also got changed. I know, being biology boys, you must be consuming a lot of vitamin C to avoid this corona. A lot of vitamin D you must be consuming. Vitamin K, because it is World Health Organization said that the arterioles that supply blood to lungs is getting clotted. That's one of the symptoms of COVID-19. And so you are having a lot of vitamins, minerals, proteins. So there is a change in food habits also. And then the diseases can broadly be classified into two. One is, of course, congenital, another one is acquired. And factors to achieve good health. What are the factors to achieve good health? So these are the various ones. Do a lot of exercise, wash frequently, take bath regularly, wear neat and clean dress, groom yourself, have plenty of water, and then do yoga, meditation. That will make your mental attitude healthy. So these are the various factors to achieve good health. And of course, take care of your heart. Heart disease awareness will be there, especially fresh vegetables, fresh fruits will make our heart very dear to us. And always we must have a positive attitude, then we will not be having any problems. What are the characteristics of good health? Important characteristic: free from sickness and diseases, free from unnecessary anxiety, free from social and psychological tensions, and of course you exhibit a lot of self-confidence in doing things, and you feel the joy in living, ability to work efficiently and its best. So these are the signs that a person is having good health. And there are some indicators of good health. For that, first one is confidence. You exhibit confidence in yourself, self-confidence. And healthy weight, height and weight, I was telling you in the class, proportionate height and weight, and BMR, basic metabolic rate, free from illness or injury, feeling good about yourself, having a reliable group of friends, and you are very popular in the group. So these are the indicators of good health. Check whether these indicators are working for you or not. And we said diseases are of two types: congenital disease and acquired disease. Of course, what we have defined health, like we said, health is a state of mind or a condition of a person wherein physically fit, mentally healthy, socially acceptable, without any disease or infirmity, we say. Right? Reverse of that will be the definition of the disease. Disease is a state or a condition in which person is physically not fit, physically unfit, mentally not healthy, mentally ill, and socially not acceptable. He is not accepted by the society, friends and groups, and having infirmity, having a disease. So that's how we can define disease and health. And types of disease: congenital. What do you mean by congenital? Some diseases, unfortunately, by birth will come, inborn diseases, and some are genetically inherited. Like, for example, sickle cell anemia. Okay, we'll be talking about that. And there is myasthenia gravis, a disease called myasthenia gravis, which is inborn, from birth it comes. And then there is acquired disease, that is after birth, during our development, we acquire them, we get them, and that's non-inheritable, it's not heritable. And the congenital diseases, diseases which a person has already contracted by birth. This may be hereditary, inherited from parents, like I said, sickle cell anemia, or due to environmental factors prevailing at the time of fertilization or embryogenesis. So, like for example, cleft palate. Congenital disease due to environmental factors are not hereditary. So, here also you can see, because of gene mutation, you got hemophilia, color blindness, disease due to chromosomal mutation, Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. We will be talking about all this in the genetics chapter. And then acquired, it is contracted after birth due to various reasons like infection, degeneration, diet, addiction, depression. These are acquired. So in acquired, we have got again communicable or infectious diseases due to bad air, bad water, bad food, physical contact with the deceased already, and vectors like female Anopheles mosquito in case of malaria. And then non-infectious deficiency disease like diabetes, arthritis, cancer, only some forms of cancer, and asthma. These are non-communicable. So acquired diseases are of two types, communicable and non-communicable. And under communicable, we can talk of two further, contagious and non-contagious. Contagious, the pathogen is transmitted to a healthy person through direct contact, like ringworm, for example, contagious. Non-contagious, the pathogen spreads through a vector and not through direct contact. For example, female Anopheles spreads malaria. So we say female Anopheles is a vector or carrier. So if the carrier is responsible for spreading the disease, then we say non-contagious. And under non-communicable, there are two, deficiency diseases and degenerative diseases. Deficiency diseases are caused by deficiency of certain nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin B, minerals, all that, like scurvy, diabetes, etc. And degenerative, it is caused by malfunctioning of some important organs like heart attack, improper functioning of heart. And then mental disorders, these include depression, anxiety, mental disability, etc. And then there are allergic diseases. These are caused when body becomes hypersensitive to certain foreign substances. Example, asthma. And person developing rashes all over the body when he eats something. Like some people, when they eat a brinjal related item, they get this. And some people, when they apply particular powders, face creams, their entire face becomes reddish. Then we say these are allergic diseases. And then addiction, disorders caused due to addiction of alcohol, smoking, drugs. These are addiction diseases. And finally, cancer. It's caused due to uncontrollable mitosis of the cells. So we'll be studying in detail about all these diseases, and the most important one is avoid pathogens. The pathogens are disease causing organisms. What are those? Bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoans, and helminthes. So in my next section we will be talking about pathogens listed above and what are the diseases. How do we know that person is suffering from particular disease? So signs and symptoms are there, and then how to prevent and how to avoid and how to cure also.